Hello again, everybody. This is going to be Jund League number 77. Doing things a little bit differently this time. The past few leagues have been a little on the awkward side. I've been drawing too few lands, too many Croxes, and just too much of my top end. It feels like. So I'm shaking a little bit up. I've reduced the number of Blood Braids on the very top. And I've also included 3 copies of Seasoned Pyromancer. Seasoned Pyromancer is something I haven't been super high on in the past. Because when I'm looking to put a card in my deck, I wanted to do one of 3 things usually. I wanted to either provide a decent clock, generate cards, or disrupt the opponent. And of those 3 things, the one of the 3 that Pyromancer does sometimes is generate cards. It's a pretty awkward thing to do on like turns 3 or 4, where you may be forced to discard cards you otherwise would not want to discard. But I mean, it does have some subtle combos with stuff like Ren and 6 and Dark Confidant. If you're drawing lots of extra cards, there's a good chance that some of the cards you have aren't going to be good enough. So I think playing 6 2-mana card advantage engines makes Seasoned Pyromancer slightly better. But again, of the three jobs that I'm looking for a card to do, Pyromancer really only does one of those 3 jobs some amount of the time, and not even a lot of the time. And at 3 mana, I'm really going to want it to be having a higher impact. So that's the reason why I haven't been high on this card in the past. But I mean, in a format that's dominated by mid-range and control, it can do well. I expect this to be pretty weak, however, versus aggro and combo, and that's a pretty good chunk of the meta right now. So I'm still not super convinced Pyromancer is where I want to be, but I mean, we're going to give it a shot. I mentioned having 4 Dark Confidant and 2 copies of Ren and 6. I still think Dark Confidant is better positioned than the Ren and 6. Confidant's worst matchups are when the opponents are playing either Lava Dart or Ren and 6, which is a good chunk of the format. But against all of the matchups where that isn't the case, I'm really liking the Dark Confidant over the Ren and 6. So I'm playing the 4-2 split. I'm playing 2 copies of Croxa. I just mentioned that I've been drawing a lot of Croxa lately, and it has felt a little clunky drawing multiples, so I'm just going down to 2, and I don't think I'm ever going to go down lower than 2. I said I wouldn't go lower than 3 recently, but I mean, drawing many of them has changed my mind. It is legendary, and the front half doesn't really do anything in terms of board presence, because I mean, this card is basically a 4-drop, right? So I mean, if you're looking at like how many top end 4-drops I have, it's kind of I guess 5. I'm playing 1 copy of Terminate to round out the removal suite, which I'll get to in a sec. I think Terminate is probably the best thing to be doing right now in terms of 2-mana removal because Stormwing Entity exists. We've drawn the Terminate many times versus Stormwing, and I've been very happy to have had this card be a Terminate for that reason. Obviously, things like Assassin's Trophy would also get the job done, but Assassin's Trophy has the huge drawback of giving the opponent a land for free, and in a format where lots of people are trying to combo off with cheap, efficient spells. Not combo off, but be very efficient with cheap combos with cheap spells and use those to leverage various prowess creatures and even lava darts. Giving opponents land is a huge drawback. And then I guess the only thing I haven't talked about yet is the 4 copies of Tarmogoyf. Tarmogoyf still just the best generic beater you can get at 2 mana. And then in the 1-drop slot, I'm playing 6 1-mana removal spells and 6 hand disruption spells. I still think an Inquisition as a 4 of and the Thoughtseize as a 2 of is probably correct. It's just much better versus aggro and mid-range where the 2 life could matter. Against control and combo, Thoughtseize is going to be better. But I think the amount of aggro to mid-range is probably a little bit higher than combo and control. So I think 4-2 split probably fine. And then when we do find those aggro-y combo match or aggro-y to combo matchups like the creature combo matchups, I think Push is going to just be able to kill things more often than Bolt can. The best example of that would be things like Tarmogoyf, Death Shadow, and Scourge of the Skyclaves, which are often larger than a 3/3. So Push going to be able to kill those more reliably than a Bolt. But Bolt's still nice to have some reach and also just obviously a really good removal spell. And then still playing 23 lands. I've got 2 copies of Nurturing Peatlands to maybe get going with the Ren and 6s. I did also mention recently that I've been drawing fewer lands than I would like, but having 6 ways to generate cards on 2 mana makes me a little bit more comfortable in playing only 23 lands. I don't think I would ever go lower than 23, and I don't think I would ever go higher than 25. I think a really good, decent average is just to pretty safely play 24 lands, but I think 23 is a fine number, especially with, again, the 6 ways to generate cards. The sideboard. I've got lots and lots of creatures in the main deck, 16 of them to be exact, so I really wasn't looking to put many threats in the sideboard today. The one threat that I do have in the sideboard is Huntmaster. I think this is going to be good versus the non-prowess aggro decks, as well as obviously mid-range and control, so I think this is going to have a lot of good spots to slot in, but it's going to be absolutely horrid versus stuff like prowess and combo, so I think it's a pretty good thing to just have in the sideboard, since it does the card generation and threat jobs pretty well, but it doesn't even do those two jobs well versus the stuff that seek to get under us. So I think a slow 4-drop just belongs in the sideboard. I'm also playing 3 spell bombs as my graveyard hate. That's about the only graveyard hate I have in the 75, so I expect to be a little bit weak to those, but it's still going to be good for hitting incidental value, like if the opponent's playing their own Croxes, their own Seasoned Pyromancers, maybe they've got the Lurrus plan going, Spellbomb is going to help there. For the land hate package, I am playing 3 copies of Cleansing Wildfire and 3 copies of Damping Sphere for anything from Amulet Titan to Tron. And then for the creature combo decks, or just mid-range battles, or just hyper aggro decks, we've got these 5 spells here, 1 Kolaghan's Command. This is kind of a clunky card, so I've been playing a lot recently, but decided to go down to 1 in the main. When this card is good, it's excellent, but when it's not great, it can be really, really clunky, and 3 mana is a really expensive card to have that if it's not going to do a lot, you kind of just don't want it. But in the matchups where it is good, it's fantastic, so I think a second one on the board is probably just going to be good. The Brutality is for anything hyper aggro and combo. It can take stuff like Cryptic Command, whereas Inquisition cannot. And then Plague Engineer is really nice for the creature combo decks, and also it's just going to trade with most things that removal can't touch. Like if I'm trying to kill a Tarmogoyf and I've got a bolt in my hand, maybe Engineer can block it and kill it because Death Touch exists. So let's take a look at the current modern metagame. We've got Heliod Company still in at first, Death and Taxes in 5th. Shadow as a solid 2nd. Blitz was recently in the, I think, like 8th-ish spot, but it's crept back up to 4. Immediately following Amulet Titan. And there's been lots and lots of Tron going around. I was watching a few streamers earlier, and they seem to only get paired against Tron, so hopefully that's not our case. But I mean, if we do get paired against it, hopefully we find the Damping Sphere. And Jund actually creeping up to 7th, the highest I've seen it in a long while, followed by Burn, Blue White, Esper, and just more of your standard Modern Defenders, Hammer Time, E-Tron, and Prowess decks, combo control, stuff like that. Alright, let's just jump into the league, and then I'll try to catch up with chat, because I know people have been typing away, but I just gotta do my recording spiels. Alright, there we go. Yeah, Spyro is a pretty good top deck war card. The issue is a lot of matchups don't necessarily come to the top deck wars, it's mainly just like the black-red X / black-green X mirrors. Yeah, Spyro. I expect Spyro to be fine, which is the issue, right? Like I want cards to be either fine or really good. I don't want them to be bad or fine, you know. And Seasoned Pyromancer I think is going to be bad or fine. Yeah, I think it's also true. You're right, Milf Drifter, that playing all the card advantage engines is a way to further leverage things like Liliana. waiting in anxious anticipation. Yeah, me too. What does the meta have to look like to sideboard Jund Charms? It has to look like a Pioneer format, because I don't think any of those modes are good enough at 3 mana. You think I should do it just for flavor though? Maybe not. Alright, well already we're off to a 1-lander. We are on the draw. Yeah, we're on the draw. We have 2 spells we can cast, and we've got Red and 6. If we find literally any second land, this hand becomes very good. Let's keep. Yeah, it's a tough hand. I think if we only had one thing to do on 1 mana, this is a clear mulligan, but I think this is a pretty close keep. Like, if we find actual any second land, this hand becomes excellent. And we've got 22 lands that we're drawing to. We've got 2 looks at it. Perfect. Alright, well, that one actually doesn't cast the Ren and 6, but I'll still lead on Swamp, cast Inquisition. Yeah, we're like, I think like 60-ish% to have an excellent hand. And then even if we find it by like turn 3 or 4, we'll still be happy. They got a basic mountain. Don't I want to kill anything card in the pulse? Like, oh, we're playing against Dredge again? Damn it. I generally dislike 1-for-1s in the sideboard. If I'm gonna board something in, I want it to be high impact. And just bringing in a 1-for-1 like a trophy, I just don't think does enough. All right, well, we're already losing this game. I hate Dredge so much. This matchup sucks. And is there argument to not fetch turn 1? Well, I don't think we can. I think we would have to fetch because like we would still want to cast Inquisition. I think they're saying that they're gonna like restart Moto or something. They must be lagging. But yeah, if we don't hit a land on this first draw step, like had we not, obviously we did. Had we not, I still think I have to fetch Shock because I definitely want to cast the Inquisition on 1. In the meantime, what's new? Not much. You mean with the deck? What are the lines to win the matchup game 1? That's a good question. So typically, you want to have the disruption on turn 1 to take the enabler. Unfortunately, they had the instant speed enabler. So couldn't really do anything about it this game. And then you kind of have to follow it up with the Tarmogoyf. Because like you need a clock. If this game goes past turn 5 or 6, you're just kind of dying. Things like the free lightning helixes that I can't remember the name of right now, the creeping chills. Things like creeping chill mean that we effectively start this game at 8 and they effectively start this game at 32. Assuming they're getting through most of their deck. So I mean I think you have to be able to take the payoff on turn 1 and then you have to be able to stick a Tarmogoyf on 2. So that said, I think we're far less than 1% to win this game. They've already got their Thug in the yard. They've already got their Dredging going. Like if they had kept a hand with Cathartic Union and had no additional way to put stuff in the yard, maybe Dark Confidant digs us out. But I really don't think we can win this game, unfortunately. I mean, I mentioned in the deck tech too that the only good graveyard hate I've got in the sideboard is the 3 copies of Spellbomb. We've got other good sideboard cards like Plague Engineer definitely comes in. It can keep Bloodghasts down. It could also name Illusion if we want to deal with Narcomoeba. So I mean, we've got some other cards that are serviceable, but we don't have any aces. Like if I draw a Tarmogoyf exactly here, I think we go from less than 1% of winning to like 1% to win. Like right now, we've got to hope like their 4 amalgams are like the bottom 4 cards of the library or something. Conflagrate maybe. Ox, yeah, that makes sense too. Alright, I have seen enough. Double Creeping Chill, triple Bloodghast, Ox on turn 2. Alright, so let's bring in the Spell Bombs. On the play, I like the Brutality because you can take the Cathartic Reunions. Obviously, I mentioned I like the Plague Engineers. Let's take out all of the Lilianas. We get to take out Croxa. And one more. I think the hand disruption is just a necessary evil. Because like we need to be able to take their payoff while we're on the play. And then push doesn't look good here. Maybe I take out other Kolagon's command. I don't know what I'd bring in for it though. I guess next card in is this Huntmaster. I definitely don't want these 14. So is Huntmaster better than one of these cards? First Kolagon's command has some merit. I mean buying back a clock could be good. Let's run this, I believe. Well, we've got the Tarmogoyf. If one of these was a discard spell, I think I'd keep this, but I think this is too bad. Like, we need to be able to have a clock and be able to take their payoff to have a good chance of winning. And this only has half of that. I'll go to 5 looking for it. Oof. Alright, so we're almost there. If this had a second land, I would definitely keep, because we can take the enabler, and we've got the Tarmogoyf. We've only got one land. We've got 22 other lands in the deck. I think I'm going down again. And then I'm going to have to keep almost any 5, unfortunately. Okay, perfect. Perfect. Keep. Let's bottom up Pyromancer for sure. And I guess I'm just going to bottom the Bob. We've got the Ren and 6. I mean, Bob I think is better in the matchup. Because you can find the cards that matter as opposed to just more lands. But I mean, we've already got 2 of the cards that matter. And I can't get a basic Swamp because that would not cast Ren and 6. So let's lead on Overgrown Tomb. So if I draw like a Blackleaf Cliffs next turn, I can play the Tarmogoyf painlessly. So we'll Overgrown Tomb here. And then really hope they've only got one enabler. So they've got Bloodghast, Loam, Nature's Claim, Stinkweed Dip, and a single land. Well, I'm not taking a Dredger, I'm not taking Bloodghast, so I'll take a Nature's Claim. Their hand is not that good, though. This might be the kind of game where we can ride a Tarmogoyf to victory. Yeah, they expected Leyline. I mean, we're not playing it, though. And they drew a land, so that's unfortunate. We still get to play a Tarmogoyf, though. And we hit Basic Mountain, so I get to play the Tarmogoyf painlessly. Let's definitely play the Tarmogoyf before the Ren and 6. I want to get the clock down. Yeah, the good old hate hand. The good old hate hand. Alright, there's the Mire that we knew about. They cannot cast a Bloodghast. They have a Cave. They might just be casting a Loam here. Them hitting the land immediately was unfortunate. What's up, Mark? Yep, there goes the Loam. And another Goyf. That's kind of perfect. Fetching does not add another type, so I'll just play another Goyf. This is what we needed. We need to apply pressure quickly before they can get under us. I mean, as far as the Mulligan to 5 goes, short of a Spell Bomb, this is about as good as I could hope for. Alright, when they Dredge Loam, they hit an Imp. So they have a fetch. They could just hard cast the Stinkweed Imp, which would actually be kind of problematic. You would cut all the Thoughtseizes for okay, Collector Utility are enough. I disagree. I think, well, the issue is, like, there's not enough stuff we actually want to bring in. So, like, I think Thoughtseize is still, on average, going to be much better than something just, like, else random in the sideboard. And I think taking the Enabler is just so important that I'm incentivized to keep it all in. Let's get second red, second black, Blood Crypt. Alright. Bob. So Glyphs are 4 or 5. If we trade with this, they are going to go to 7. I can, if I want, cast Ren and 6, buy back a land, play Dark Confidant. It's probably the line. The question is, do I actually want to attack into this thing? They've got another Stinkweed Imp in the yard, so like they're going to be able to dredge no matter what. They don't have another enabler though, so like if they brick on the Stinkweed Imp Dredge, it's possible that they sputter. Like they could kind of just dissolve themselves. So maybe I don't attack. The issue is attacks aren't getting much better, right? Because if they play this other Stinkweed Imp, they kind of block me forever until I find removal. I mean, I'm definitely playing both of my spells. I think what I'm going to have to do is just try to kill these things before attacking and just continue playing my spells. Having 2 card advantage engines makes me more comfy to sit back, but I mean, against Dredge, I'm never comfy. And then let's just get basic Swamp. So I'm going to hope that they can somehow brick on this Dredge 5. Had I had a removal spell here, I think I'd just kill this and get my attack in for 8, put them to 3, because then they are under the gun. Alright, they actually did not hit another Dredger. They did hit a Narcomoeba, but no prized amalgams. They have brought in Trophy, too, so they must be real afraid of something like Leyline. You would definitely play Huntmaster instead of a Thoughtseize. There's things like Huntmaster costs 4 mana. I feel like if we're unable to slow down their nut draws or even their medium draws, like we just don't have the time to get to Huntmaster anyway. Loam for 2 lands, yep. So hopefully they brick onto Dredge 3. We do have the red and 6 to ping the Narcomoeba if we find a removal spell. If we find a removal spell, they actually just die, right? Because we can ping the Narcomoeba with the red and 6, and then we can attack for lethal. So please removal top 2. That counts. Let's give target creature -2/-2. They could have a lightning axe to break this up. But if they don't, we'll win. Alright. Boom. I think I'm just going to run it back. Pretty happy I mulliganed to 5, huh? I mean, I said I needed a way to take their payoff, and I needed a way to pressure them early in the form of a Goyf, and I mulliganed to 5 looking for that, and we hit it, and we won. Gonna probably just be looking to do that again. I don't think I'm bringing in the Huntmaster. If it's not good enough on the play, it's almost definitely not good enough on the draw. I think I'm just gonna run this back. Definitely keeping the discard. We just started, Mark. I'm doing 1 league today. This is interesting. So we don't have the disruption to take the payoff. They also kept the 7. We don't have the disruption to take the I guess enabler. And we don't have anything to do on 2 mana. Plague Engineer is a good sideboard card though. It's going to be good at keeping blood casts down. I don't think this hand is good enough. I think I'm going to mulligan. I'm going to mulligan aggressively to as much as 5 to look through a start similar to the last one. Alright, and there it is. Let's bottom a land, obviously. I guess I'll keep the Peatland because it could cycle later. I guess I can shock on 1, get basic mounted on 2. And let's hope their enabler isn't 1 mana. They've got a Leyline. That's fine. Not sure why they would bring in Leyline. Alright, I don't know if Dredge plays Veil of Summer, but I'm going to hope they don't. Alright, Shock. Yes. Inquisition. Please be like 1 copy of Cathartic Reunion. Darn, it was Haggle. Ditching a Conflagrate, though. Okay, so maybe no Dredger. Maybe they also have a Cathartic Union. They have Trophy and Shriekhorn. Definitely taking... Actually, it's close. If I leave them with the Trophy, I'm not going to be able to stick the Tarmogoyf. They must have just drawn the Shriekhorn. Thing is, like, if I take the Shriekhorn, they don't actually have any Dredgers, and they don't have any ways to put Dredgers in the yard. I guess not completely true. They've got Conflagrate. So if they just draw a Dredger, I could be in trouble. So I guess the question is, what is more likely? Am I going to be able to find an additional threat faster than they're able to just draw a Dredge card? It's kind of even, right? They're probably playing like 14-ish cards with Dredge on them, and I'm playing like 15 or 16 threats. But my best threat is Tarmogoyf. I don't think I can beat them if they have this Shriekhorn, because that just raises their chances at binning one by so much. Like, they have to draw one naturally without the Shriekhorn. I think I'm taking the Horn. And then, unfortunately, they're just going to have the Trophy for first copy of Goyf. Yeah, it does look like they diluted their deck pretty hard. Hopefully they don't just hit it immediately. It looks like they may have. They did not. Oh, they drew Cathartic Union. That's brutal. Well, they ditched their Trophy. They still don't have any Dredgers. So we've got a chance. We have to get a little lucky. Another land is bad. Alright, Mountain. Time to be lucky. Yeah, well, yeah, giving them another type doesn't actually matter if they're just gonna kill it anyway. But they discarded the Trophy. Yeah, it's always on the top of the library, right? We've got a chance. If they somehow didn't hit, well, like they did. If they somehow didn't hit, we could get there. All right, and they hit a Bloodghast Creeping Chill. Rough. Got a land? They do. They still have Conflagrate in the yard too. We hit another Goyf. I mean, that's the winning formula, right? This can't block. There's not yet. Actually, there is an instant. So this could get Lightning Axed. But I'll attack first so they use it or not without information of second Goyf. Okay, Goyf number 2. And I guess let's get down second red, second black. Alright, I still need to get lucky. If they play the Merchant, I can terminate it. Maybe they drew another Haggle or something, and that's what they're considering. I don't know why they brought in this Leyline, though. Maybe for run in 6? That doesn't seem good, though. I guess it stops Kroxa as well, but Kroxa gets boarded out. I think this is probably just a bad sideboard card. Alright, they still have Shriekhorn and no Dredgers, so gonna really hope they brick. Brick! They bricked! Another Ancient Grudge. Wow, they just like really packing the hate. We're at 4/5s now. It's a 2-turn clock, but I mean they could hit a Creeping Chill to change that. We've got the Terminate, which is probably going to be used to kill a blocker on a turn where we need to push for lethal. Golgari Thug. Alright, well if we kill that, it just goes back to the top of their library. Oh, wow, that was good. So you're telling me there's a chance. So something to remember is when we pop Spellbomb on them, Goyfs are going to become 0/0s. So if I let them block and then I Spellbomb them, I guess I can Spellbomb them upkeep. There's not actually any Dredge cards in their yard, though, other than this Conflagrate. So I think what's gonna happen here. Let's reread this card. So when it dies, put target creature card from the graveyard on top of your library. So this will put itself back on top of the library, and then they can then dredge it. They can then activate Treecorn, and they will guarantee put a dredger in their yard. But in response to shenanigans, I can then activate the Spell Bomb. I don't think I'm winning by not attacking, so I think I'm attacking. The question is, do I want to terminate this now? Yeah, they're just really afraid of stuff like Spell Bomb, I think. They can Ancient Grudge me at my end step to make it so that I never get to do this on a good timing. So I think, given this Ancient Grudge, which is making it awkward, I think I have to terminate this now, attack, and then Spell Bomb, and then when they inevitably grudge me, I'll have to Spell Bomb in response. Because like if I attack first and I let them block, and then I play this, they can grudge me, and then when I have to pop it, my Tarmogoyf is going to die. So I think I've got to terminate this now. Alright, it'll target itself. Go back on top. Alright, and then we attack. Alright, and I do think I want to draw the card off of the Spell Bomb, so I guess what I'm going to do here is play the Peatland, play the Spell Bomb off of the Blood Crypt, and then I can use the Spell Bomb, and I can sack the Spell Bomb and pay the black off of the Peatland. Oh, I'm not going to be able to draw the card because of Leyline. Yeah, I can't draw the card because of Leyline. But so I guess that means I should have played this Stomping Ground. Their Leyline did something. Alright, they are doing it now. So now I'm going to hit the rest of their yard. This at least removes a Conflagrate. And this never goes to the yard, unfortunately, so I definitely should have played the Stomping Ground. So they're going to mill themselves. They're going to at least hit the imp, or not the imp, sorry, the thug, which is going to regrow the Goyfs more than likely. They had a Bloodghast as well. Dredge a thug, probably. They bricked. They hit another imp. Goyfs are 3/4s again, though. They get to attack me for 2. This is as close as it gets. Just another thug. Bob. Alright, I think I'm leading on Sacrifice Peatland. Yeah. Blood Braid, that's good. So I guess I'm attacking now, huh? If they block, I'm kind of just okay with that. They've already got the Dredger. I doubt they're putting Bloodghast or Stinkweed Imp back on top, so this just looks like an attack, play Bob, play land. Hopefully we can kill them next turn with the Blood Braid attacking next to the 3 other creatures. Lots of ways they can pull ahead with a Dredge 5. And this is not actually a May, so they're going to have to put something on top. Probably the Thug. Alright. A 2-1. Stomping Ground. Go. Alright, so we're going to have to hope that all of these creatures can join forces in a lethal attack next turn. Here comes a Thug. They bricked. Actually, they hit Ox. But they've got they have 8 cards in their yard right now. So if they're gonna play the Ox, they've got to exile their whole yard. Which means that they're not gonna necessarily have dredgers to dredge with. This looks like Ox. I mean, we might be able to win through an Ox as long as they don't have a Dredger in hand to, like, keep a Dredge chain, to, like, start a Dredge chain. They don't. Oh, they have the Imp. Yeah, okay. So we need this to brick now. It did not. No Creeping Chills, though. There's one. And they still have a Thug that they can dredge. A land drop means they can bring Bloodghasts back, but Bloodghasts cannot block. Wow, that's a lot of amalgams. So they're going to 10. If they can get their Bloodghast back now, it will have haste. Alright, math time. So Goyf is a 4/5. If we attack all, we connect for 4, 5, 6, 9. So if I don't block here and Brennan 6 hits any burn spell or a way to get this Ox out of the way, we'll win. Or if we can grow Tarmogoyf somehow. There's already creature in the yard. I think I've got to take the hit. It's really close. We reveal the Raging Ravine. Alright, I guess I'm going for it. I mean, I don't have to attack if it looks like I'm not actually able to win. But we want this to hit actual any burn spell. Any bolt, any Renin 6, even the 1 copy of Kolaghan's command works. Another Bob. Having hit a creature, does that make it so I can attack? So if their Ox dies, I guess they already have another Ox. So, I mean, these amalgams are going to come back tapped. These are still 4/5. I'll redo the math to make sure I'm not messing it up. So they're going to block one of these. Ox will die. They'll take 6, 9. That's 1 off. So I guess if I attack like this, they still have to block because this is lethal. I can then just keep the Bobs back to block potentially hasty Bloodghasts. And then Amalgams are coming back tapped, so I think this attack is good. Alright, I think if I get to untap, I'll have a good shot. They're going to... I guess they don't have any dredgers. They have Life from the Loam that they can dredge. It's like they could dredge Loam, cast an Ox. This is pretty close. I don't think I'm ahead, but it's definitely close. They've already used 2 Creeping Chills, right? Yeah. And they've got so many Creeping Chills. They've had so many pieces of anti-hate that I don't know how many Creeping Chills could still fit in the deck with all of the enablers and payoffs. Yeah, because like if they get back if they Loam here, play a land, they get back a Bloodghast. I can then block, and then I've got lethal on Crackback. We might get there. Yeah, so it looks like they're doing the line that I outlined. They can now play a land, get back Bloodghast, and then cast an Ox. And then I guess what we're worried about is them being able to put out a bunch of free blockers, which would be the case if they find a good number of Narcomoebas. And they've only got 15 cards left in the library. They've gone through a decent amount. What they might just do is they might try to spike another Creeping Chill and then hope the Bobs kill me. Which is possible. Oh, they're just doing this? Conflagrate for 5? Oh, this kills me, doesn't it? Bummer. They saw the line. Attack me. Bummer. I mean, I still think I had to attack with 3 things, right? Because otherwise I can't kill them. Big Xaxes. I needed 1 more turn. Or a burn spell off of the Bloodbraid. About as close as I could hope for. Is Liliana Last Hope good? I do not believe so. The plus ability is just better executed by Ren and 6 in the main deck and Plague Engineer in the sideboard. And like the regrow ability is fine. But 3 mana regrow at sorcery speed is generally not fantastic. Yeah, it's definitely a tough matchup. We played against them round 1 of a league yesterday too. They revealed Luris. I think this is a keep. We've got a 1/2/3. Luris means probably Shadow, which means we could potentially get set far behind if the opponent has an Inquisition or a Thoughtseize of their own. But I mean, if we got Peatland to cycle, I think this is a keep. If this is like Hammer Time, we'll be a lot happier with this hand. Yeah, it was a cool match. About as close as I could ask for. Hey, they didn't Thoughtseize me. Alright, so we get to Thoughtseize them. Croaks is a good pickup too. They've mulliganed to 6, by the way. Oh wow, they're playing, looks like some kind of control deck. I'm definitely taking Thirst because Thirst kills Ren and 6. I'm gonna have to be worried about Cryptic Command later, but I want this Ren and 6 to be good for at least a hot minute. Yeah, it looks like just like you blue-black control with Luris. This deck's cool. If they're playing red, it gets worse, because then they'll have Kolagon's Command. Uh-oh. Yeah, Snapcaster and Kolagon's Command are 2 cards I am afraid of. Cryptic, obviously not. Not super encouraging either. If I play Forest, it's not a card that can escape the Croxa. But I mean, I get to save the life by not tapping Peatland immediately. Let's just play the Forest and hope this sticks. It does. You thought Spike was playing something similar? Possible. Alright, so they're going to have Cryptic Command up next turn with a land. They didn't put Lurrus into their hand. I mean, I guess I'm just casting Kroxa. There goes a swamp. Unfortunately, no lands to be comboing with this. Next turn, I'll start cycling the peatland. Now that I've got some lands in play that can actually produce mana. So I've got Cryptic +2. I doubt they're considering bounce this in response. We'll just replay it. Goyf is good. It's going to get Cryptic more than likely. But I mean, we're going to have to work through this Cryptic at some point somehow anyway, so it's probably fine to just jam. If they like counterbalance Ren and 6, I can replay Ren and 6, which is not ideal. But I mean, if I just don't play this, they'll just bounce Ren and 6 and draw anyway. Yeah. There just isn't really a... There wasn't really a good way to go about that, I don't think. At least this way they don't also draw a card, right? Silver Lining. Lurrus to hand. Yep, we've got removal for the Lurrus, so that's not a huge issue. I guess the only thing we're super worried about now is Spell Snare, so I guess let's just jam. Either one of these is getting Spell Snared. So do I just lead on the more important one? It's 5/6. I guess what would I want to get Spell Snared more? I guess they know about Ren and 6, so I'll just lead on the one that they know of. Gonna plus it now while I have priority so they can't bolt it. So Lurrus plus Bobble time. They looked at their own library. So do I want to attempt to bolt this thing with their draw card on the stack? I think I do. And if they somehow counter, I can just sacrifice Peatland and then send a push at it. But if they're gonna draw the counter spell, I'd rather them not get the window. Another Peatland is fine. I guess let's lead on attack for 5. Bummer. Alright, let's sacrifice Peatland, buy it back. Bob's a good one. That one can get bolted. But it's better than not playing anything here. We also just don't know that they have the bolt. But if this gets to stick, I'll be pretty happy. It hasn't died yet. We also have Kroxa coming down the line. There's the bolt. Snapcaster, Bloodchief's Thirst. Brutal. I mean, I think I'm going to go for the escape on Kroxa. They've got one card left. If it's like a leak, a remand, or I guess something like that, I'll be unhappy, but not much I can do about that. And if it's not, they're just going to discard the last card, and then I think we're ahead. For future Goyf purposes, I guess I should leave Goyf. I've only got... I guess the odds I draw Goyf are higher than drawing a Kolaghan's Command to get back a Goyf. So I think I'm just going to leave the Planeswalker in the yard. Please no counterspell as last card. Great. It was Into the Story. Well, I guess I'm really happy that they didn't get a chance to cast that. This goes off of opponent's graveyard, right? Yeah, if an opponent has 7 or more. Alright, we're doing well. I get to push this thing out of the way to connect for 9. I do think I should just push this out of the way. I guess I could sacrifice Peatland first to get some information. If I want to cast other Kroxa, I'm going to have to leave Forest up, but I'm not going to be able to cast a green spell. I guess we know this is happening. Let's just do it first. Kick it off the ship. Yep. Thwacky to 6. We've got Pulse for the first problematic permanent, so this is looking good. Kolaghan's Command could be problematic, though, because they could, like, Kolaghan's Command get back Luris, play Bobble, and that could be a way they start climbing back. I think I want to cast this Kroxa, though. Yeah, let's cast this Kroxa. I'll keep the one in play, obviously. Choose which one to keep. This one. And then in the event I end up discarding a card, I guess I'd rather discard Basic Swamp, so I'll play the Peatland. They're going to get to Scry here. They've got a few ones that would be good. I mean, any Fatal Push could put me behind, but they are at 3, which means any Bolt or even just Escape of a Kroxa could mean they die. So not a bad spot to be in. Let's see that bottom, please. They're tanking on something. What could they possibly be tanking on? Like, either it keeps them alive or it doesn't. Alright, they top-bottomed. So they at least kind of like the card on top. Maybe it's a Cryptic. Just draw a Bolt and make it easy, please. I guess we've only got 2 red, so we can't Kroxa and Bolt. Okay. Guess let's lead on attack. They've got to do something before we trigger this Kroxa. If I get to attack with this Kroxa, they die, right? Unless whatever they do cantrips. It's a drown. Sure. We get to just kill them now, though, right? I can sacrifice the Peatland to put the 5th card into the yard. I can play Swamp and then just escape Kroxa again. Sick. So, Grixis with only a Steam Vents. Let's bring in the Kolaghan's Command. Let's bring in the Huntmaster. Let's bring in the Brutalities. Brutality kills Luris, and it also takes Cryptic Command, which we know the opponent is playing. Spellbomb also probably going to be good. Weaker things. 1-for-1s that don't kill Luris super reliably. Those are the only, like, slam dunk outs. I think I'm also going to cut some number of Inquisition. Plague Engineer for Wizards. It's interesting, but I think probably too weak. Yeah, the control games are always really, really fun. Need one more cut. I don't think Engineer naming Wizard is going to be better than just one of the cards I've got in the main deck. I'm actually thinking about cutting a Tarmogoyf. I tend to like to cut a Tarmogoyf when we're playing against a control deck where all of their removal hits the Goyf. Like if we're playing against something like Jeskai control where they're either gonna path or have to 2-for-1 themselves to bolt the Goyf down, then I like keeping the Goyfs in. But against the black X control decks that can just kill the Goyf with a Fatal Push, I think I'm good just taking one out and keeping in the things that can generate card advantage. I like this. You want to go down a Liliana. I don't think I wanted to go down a Liliana, but it's definitely close. I think Goyf is probably a better cut than Liliana. Like, against Cryptic and all the flash creatures, Liliana can be a liability. This is true. But I like the Lilianas while I'm playing 2 red and 6s and 4 bobs. If I'm playing fewer and it's less likely that I can get Liliana paired with something, then yeah, Liliana is even weaker. But I think it's probably good enough to play while I've got so much card advantage of my own. I did submit, right? Cool. It's kind of funny, like, against this matchup, it's almost correct to take the draw, right? Just get the extra card. It's pretty close. Speaking of pretty close, this hand. I think I'm keeping just because mulliganing sucks so much, but I'm not excited. Bolt is one of my weaker cards in the matchup. It's just really good for, I guess, killing Luris is the main thing. No, they did not mulligan. Spellbomb's nice. It's a nice thing to just go ahead and cast on turn 1 off of, I guess, Blood Crypt. I don't think I've got to worry about Blood Moon. Famous last words. Sure. Do I want to just cast the Brutality now? Bolt an awkward one. So, I mean, Spellbomb is going to make Kroxa a little awkward. Probably, I'm going to try to hold it for as long as possible unless they go down to like 1 card in hand. So I think what I'm going to do now is just cast the Brutality. What lands do I want to use to do that? I guess I can get Overgrown Tomb pretty freely. Is there any chance I want to double bolt next turn and not have to want to fetch shock to do it? I don't think so. Although if I am going to get a basic land, I guess I'd rather want to get Swamp. So if I get Stomping Ground now, I can get Swamp with the other Verdant. So I guess I'll just keep up double bolt and probably just get Swamp with this Verdant. So Stomping Ground here. No reason to escalate, I don't think. This is more than likely going to hit. We hit, indeed. Indeed we hit. Alright, let's, I guess, just take a Cryptic. This game is going to get to when we're in Cryptic mode. Well, when the opponent is going to be able to reliably cast the Cryptic. So I think just taking 1 now is probably fine. Drown is the most impactful thing short term. Funny thing is, I could actually Spellbomb myself to counter their Drown if I really felt like it. And they shocked. Maybe to keep up Push and Drown. They didn't put Luris to hand. Thoughtseize is a nice pickup. I might just cast that now while the opponent has Cryptic down. It's so weird, because, like, they shocked. If they try to drown this, am I gonna want to Spellbomb myself so I get to actually Thought Seize them. I want to be able to hit their yard, though, because this Lurrus I am worried about. But given that I've got 2 answers for Lurrus, I think maybe I can safely just actually make the play where I Spellbomb myself. So let's go Verdant. Thought Seize. And I want to play this first, too, right? Because if the opponent makes the play where I want to end up Spellbombing myself, I want to be able to draw the card off with a Spellbomb. Like, if I don't have more than 1 answer to a Lurrus here, I don't think I can do this. They're drowning. I'm going to Spellbomb myself. So they've got Cryptic, Push, Bolt. We've drawn a Dark Confidant. Still probably best to take the Cryptic. They've got 2 answers to the Bob, so can't really punch a hole in that way. Getting rid of my Thought Seize too, sure. I guess they're just trying to find some action. So they have still a Push and a Bolt in hand. This is probably Lurrus to hand. Alright, so they've got Lurrus added into all of this. Liliana. That's a good one. Let's just do that. Definitely going to plus it so they can't just bolt the Liliana down. And now let's discard... I'm definitely playing the Ravine here. I guess we can just discard Kroxa. If they do get to counter one of my bolts, I really want to make sure I can kill the Lurrus. So I think I'm keeping both bolts. And Spellbomb, the Kroxa I'm going to want to hit the yard at some point anyway. They can Lurrus just recast a Spellbomb, but that's almost always going to be the case anyway. There goes the push. Alright, Ravine, go. Liliana, kind of the perfect draw there. Because, like, with the texture of their hand, we know that it's, like, the thing that they are going to have the hardest time dealing with. Yep, so that I'm assuming they're doing this so that we can't Edict the Lurrus immediately. And the land means that they can recast Spellbomb instead of Bobble. So their last card is Lightning Bolt. Or sorry, they used the Bolt. It's an unknown. And interesting that they're getting Bobble here. They should probably pop this now so they have a decision of what to discard when I plus Liliana. Alright, so I think I'm going to lead on plus in case they've got like something I'm not thinking about. I'm definitely plussing anyway to charge up another Edict. And then assuming this resolves, we know that I'm going to be able to kill the Lurrus. So maybe I just ditch Bolt. I can ditch Bolt, bolt this, play Bob, play land, and then I can get Liliana to be asymmetrical. That also feeds Kroxa the best. So yeah, let's ditch a Bolt. So they've got nothing left. Let's Bolt Lurrus. Play a land, play a Bob. They're going to untap with 2 fresh cards, but we've got all of the onboard pressure, and we've also got our Kroxa in the queue. So this is looking good. This is going to more than likely get Overgrown Tomb, I think. They found the push. Brutal. Snapcaster would have been worse for me. They could still have a Snapcaster. We are 1 card short of escaping Kroxa. So what I could do is I could just plus the Liliana and discard whatever it is I draw, and the opponent's going to be hellbent for when Kroxa enters. I guess this is kind of the best of both worlds, right? Because like if they do have a Snapcaster, this will at least give me the info before I plus. This still lets me escape Kroxa. It was a gust. Well, the Liliana was going to clear it anyway. Alright, put you to 11. And we do have lethal next turn if you consider the Ravine. So if they brick here, we're good. If they don't brick here, we fight on. Sick. Love the control matchups. Bob and Ren and 6 make it really good. GG! Thank you, Livid. I have a text message. We got one. Yeah, it was a good win. It's a good win. Let's do it again. We've dodged Tron twice in a row, so that's good. They revealed Yorion. Unfortunately, this hand looks a bit on the slow side, especially on the draw. Better. They're playing Yorion, so I guess it could be like Death and Taxes. I'm definitely bottoming a land. I guess Forest. I'm just very consistently the worst land. Like, this land is great when you want to fetch for it. But outside of that, you just, like, never want to draw it. Yeah. I think Grixis is probably a pretty close matchup. I don't think we're super disfavored, but if we are disfavored, I don't think by much. Keep bottom done. So I guess I'll Verdant first. Plan on getting Overgrown Tomb. Stomping Ground with Yorion. Oh, is this 5-color Niv? 5-color Niv is a bad matchup. Inquisition Thoughtseize? Looks fine too. I see you, Ian. I see that emote. Yeah, it's 5-color Niv. I am in danger. Alright, let's get the Overgrown Tomb. We've already got double red. We want to get second black. Our Goyf can get helixed. I think we're going to have to take that gamble. Yeah, this is looking kind of whack. Teferi is bad too. I can bolt the Teferi, but it might be more important just to get Liliana into play. If they have any answer to Tarmogoyf, the Teferi is going to continue to live. I mean, I could just double spell, bolt the Teferi, replay the Tarmogoyf, which is also probably fine. So which matters more? I think I like getting the creature into play, because like them playing 5-color Niv, I think I just kind of have to be the beatdown deck. They've got 5 cards in hand, so they're still going to get to select pretty easily from they have a wide selection of stuff to discard. So I think I just like killing Teferi, redeploying the threat, and trying to attack. We're out of Helix range now, but we can still get Kaya's Guiled. That one's bad for me. Got a Liliana for it. There's the basic forest. I guess I'll play the forest so I can keep up a lightning bolt after playing Liliana. Attack for 4. There's already a bolt in the yard, so bolting them now doesn't grow Goyf. I know what that land does. Got another one. Niv, that one's good too. So they get to draw a bunch of cards. Valky's only one color. Can't draw that. I guess what did they keep between Nahiri and Helix? They put Helix, so they did not take Nahiri. Go to discard. Ha! Joke's on you. Inquisition. I think I need to kill this Niv now, unfortunately. We're at 4-5. Casting Inquisition does add a sorcery. What are the odds we can just attack past this thing? There's already a Planeswalker and an instant in the yard, so we're not gonna be able to grow this past a 5/6. Unfortunately, I cannot Liliana and Inquisition. I've only got 2 black. And discarding right now doesn't really do anything either. I mean, I've got to start connecting with them, unfortunately. So maybe what I do is I plus Liliana, discard Inquisition, play Liliana Edict. I can attack for 5, which means if I somehow connect, I can bolt them and kill them. But they've got Guile and Helix and Teferi to just bounce the Tarmogoyf. So it's not looking good. I might need every card in my hand to win. Plussing isn't going to do anything against the 7-card hands. Let's just play other Liliana, keep the new one. Get this Niv out of the way. And get in for 4. Why not use Lily's 4th mode since you can use all your spells? Because I want to get the Niv out of the way and I need to play the other Liliana to do that. So they can Helix my Liliana down if they really care. But it's doing more work for them than it is for me at this point. They drew 5 off of their Niv. Yeah, that works too. They can ping the Liliana down. I can bolt the Ren and 6. I'm going to give it one more draw step and then I'll scoop. So should I bolt this? I think I have to. If I draw Bloodbraid, I can attack it down, but Bloodbraid is going to have to go at their face anyway. So what if I just ignore this? They've got a Helix, unfortunately. I think I'm going to have to win this game by just throwing a bunch of burn and attacks at their face. I think this is going to have to go face. I'm just going to ignore this. I can't do it yet because maybe I can surprise them with burning them a lot. I need to draw like Bloodbraids now, though. Could be worse. They do have the Helix. They do have the Teferi. They've got another Niv. Alright, well, I guess I'm taking Niv, and then I can Inquisition and take the Helix. Because, again, I think I have to win this game through just burning them out. Teferi is annoying because if I draw Bloodbraid, I'm not going to be able to Cascade. But Helix puts me even farther away. Maybe that's bad though, because like if I draw a Goyf, Teferi deals with it much better. Just bounce an Abundant Growth probably. Yeah, maybe that was bad. If I draw a Goyf, I'll look silly, but if I draw a Bloodbraid, I'll look good. Well, they did already minus it, so maybe they haven't found another way to deal with it. They're back up to 7 cards in hand already. How is this possible? If they somehow bricked on all of this, maybe I can win. We're at 5-6 right now. I mean, we can push the bird, attack them for 5, put them to 3, bolt them. There's no way this works, right? So I'll pay a black here. I can still push and have bolts. I mean, another Kaya's Guile or Helix means that this isn't going to work anyway. Yeah, you were gifted a sub yesterday, Owen. That was, I think Udok gifted you one. They had the Helix too. Alright, well, they have everything we're worried about. Alright, well, they've got a Teferi. So I guess I'm doing this now. I don't care about them attacking me for 1. Maybe I should just cut them off of mana. They've already got all of the mana in the world, so maybe I should just kill the one that attacks. Now, I'll cut the one that gives mana. Doesn't feel good no matter what. And now I kind of have to bolt the Teferi because it's going to grow enough to bounce my next threat anyway. I mean, that might have worked had they not drawn the 2 things that we were afraid of. We needed them to not have either, and they found both. Bring to light right off the top. So they get to cast back half of Valky with the way that Bring to Light is worded. I was gonna say texted. That's not even a word. All right, Huntmaster, Brutality, Wildfire. It's kind of it. They don't really have anything graveyard related. So let's take out Kolagon's Command, some Fatal Pushes. We can cut a Bolt too. Bolts at least kill the walkers, so I think they're probably better than Fatal Push. They're playing Wrenn and 6 and a crap ton of burn spells, so Bob is on the weak side, but it's still probably going to be one of the better cards in the matchup if we can prevent them from finding the answer. I think I'm just going to have to cut most of my 1-for-1s and really try to max out on the multi-for-1s. I think I've got to keep the Terminate as an out to Omnath and Luris. Sorry, Omnath and Niv. This has me needing 2 more cuts. I like keeping some number of 1-mana removal spells. They do play Birds of Paradise, and they can kill walkers. And I need to be the beatdown, so I don't think I can cut any of my 2-mana threats. Maybe it's just the Liliana. Liliana seems pretty bad when they're drawing a bajillion cards. Maybe I just play 2 Lilianas. Give this a go. Let's go first. We've got to be the beatdown with the Goyf, hopefully. I think this is a keep. If they've got a Utopia Sprawl, we can nuke it. We've got a Bob, which I said is probably one of the better cards in the matchup. But this is going to look really silly if they've got a Ren in 6. So let's hope they don't have a Ren in 6. Let's get Stomping Grounds. We've got a duel that produces each color. There's the Goyf, though. Goyf doesn't get nuked by a Ren in 6 immediately. It is still within Helix range, though. I think I'm going to take the high risk, high reward line and just hope this doesn't get Ren in 6'd. Like, if we had two types that weren't instant in the yard, I think I'd play the Goyf here. But given that whatever I do now can get Helixed, I think it's probably just good to play the Ren, or to play the Dark Confidant and hope they don't have the Ren. And if they do, it's going to feel pretty sucky. Alright, they don't have it apparently. This could be the Helix. Okay, well the Goyf is going to get to live, which was the hope. Now let's play Goyf. Although maybe now I just want to play the other Dark Confidant, because we know that they don't have the Ren in 6. But I think I just need to be the beatdown, unfortunately. Pretty close, which I should do. But I think attacking might just be more important. Hopefully they use a turn Utopia Sprawling, and then we can hit the land that the Sprawl is on. So my small gamble of which to play on turn 2 paid off. We'll see if it matters in the grand scheme of things. Bummer. Another land, not great. Well, I guess I'm going to go for the Cleansing Wildfire. They've got all of their colors right now. At least maybe I can set them off of their colors. And then maybe I can play a Ren in 6 in the second main when they're off of Helix and Bolt for the turn. So let's kill that. And then I'll go to my second main when they no longer have this mana. Bolt's not great. I guess technically better to just tap 2 Peatlands here. Maybe I save a life if I don't use all my mana next turn. So maybe I took 1 extra life that I didn't need to there. Don't think it should matter a whole lot. Teferi is annoying. It's not a Ren in 6 though. They're two funny. They're 2 lands off of Ren in 6 with the Esper basics. Liliana. I guess I'm going to go Liliana and Bob here. And I do think I want to start plussing, so if it's between Kroxa and a Bolt discard, I guess I'm just going to discard the Kroxa, because next turn I may want to use the Bolt to kill the Teferi if I don't get to attack it. So let's Liliana first and plus first, so they discard without the info of what I'm doing next. They know about the Bob already, so this isn't a super... This isn't like a super ambitious bluff. Like they know that if I've got a land, I can play the Bob again. We also got Kroxa in the queue. If we find a red source, we can both Bolt and use Kroxa. Bummer. Bummer. Well, we can Bolt and use Kroxa now. If we get the basic mountain, so let's do that. We can't Bolt it at end step because Teferi's got static text. Pulse is good too, but I think I'm going to save that for the next thing. They're going to go down to 1 card in hand. If this 1 card isn't super impactful, there's a chance this Kroxa gets there. So I guess for Tarmogoyf purposes, what should I keep? They've already got multiple walkers in their yard. I guess only 1. I am not playing Kolaghan's Command, right? Right. So I'm not buying back creatures ever. They don't know that, though. They do not have sorcery, so I definitely want to keep sorcery. Let's do that. Boom, Kroxa. Alright. Everybody cross your fingers. We can sacrifice the peatlands if it comes up that I need to fill my yard again to recast Kroxa. So this is looking okay. 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 Yorion to hand. Alright. Life's a good draw as well. Do I want to just lead on casting Tarmogoyf? I could pulse the Abundant Growth so they don't cantrip off of the Yorion. But that seems ambitious. I think I'm going to lead on Sacrifice Peatland, because if I draw Bloodbraid, I'm going to want to cast it, and otherwise I'll just cast Goyf. Brutality. It's interesting. What are the odds they've got an instant or sorcery in their hand? I mean, I guess I can just try for it. If I brick, it doesn't really matter, because, I mean, like, the only good mode on this now is take an instant or sorcery or drain them. And, like, if I get to hit, Kroxa gets to steal their Yorion. I get to play Goyf this turn anyway. Let's try. Like, the upside on this is really high, and the downside is we just discard a card. So, I mean, let's hope it works out. And if it does, excellent. If not, boo. Oh, it's a Veil. Funny. Brutal. Well, it was an instant or sorcery. It just wasn't one we could take. Alright, trigger. So the last card is Yorion. Another threat. So they get to, assuming they don't draw like a Niv, a Bring to Light for a Niv, or an Omnath. This should be a good turn. I think they shouldn't have fetched here, because if they draw Omnath, they can play Omnath and make mana off of it. Or I guess not true, that would only be their first land drop. So fetch here probably fine. And then, I guess we're 1 short of lethal. There's not actually a creature yet in the yard, is there? So if we pulse the, if we pulse the Yorion out of the way, we attack for exactly 11, not counting the trigger. They're not playing anything? Well, I'm not playing around Settle the Wreckage. I wonder if they drew a Kaya's Guile and they're going to full escalate it. That would be bad. That would mean they discard the Yorion, though, so maybe. It's a long upkeep stop. I mean, what else could it be, right? It's maybe just Kaya's Guile. We know they have Yorion, which at least draws a card off of Abundant Growth. So whatever they're doing has to be better than that. I mean, the only thing at instant speed that I can think of out of this deck is Kaya's Guile. Maybe they've got like a trophy or something? I think the only thing that makes sense is Kaya's Guile. Trua Liliana. Alright, well, I'm gonna go to combat. Liliana could be good, because if they use something now, and they discard a card off of an attack... No, it was a trophy. Okay. Okay. Let's use the ability, yeah. I mean, we're just gonna get to re-escape this, right? And then have them discard the Orion. This doesn't seem great for them. I guess we could potentially die to a Verdict. Red, red, black, black. But we're going to be put behind to a Verdict anyway. Huntmaster makes me more comfy in just escaping this now. Have them discard the Orion. So now if they do get lucky and draw a Verdict, we've at least got something to start rebuilding. Alright, they're on empty. Yeah, like it had to be either a trophy or a Guile. Decay, obviously, basically a trophy at this point. Although a trophy gave me the land and let me do the thing. The drawback on this is real, even on turn 8. They drew a push. We're a 4-5. Okay, we drew a bolt. Good. There's nothing in their yard that can bite me here, right? No. Alright, we got a game against 5-color Niv that feels pretty lucky. Is there any way I want Kolaghan's Command to just pressure their hand or buy back a threat? I don't think so. I think I'm just going to run this again. We're on the draw, though, which is going to make it harder. We've got our colors, we've got a Goyf, we can kill an early bird, and we've got Wildfire to make their mana awkward. This feels like it's going to be pretty much as good as it gets, short of finding lands. They could have a Veil. Do I just play a Mountain to hold up a Bolt? I think I do. Shocking is not exactly going to matter, I don't think. Yeah, they're playing 5-color Niv, which is, I think, a very difficult matchup. At least it's fun while it's difficult. It's not like Tron, you know? Abundant Growth, yes. Alright, so I've got a decision now. Do I want to cast the Tarmogoyf and try to get the beatdowns on? Or do I cast Cleansing Wildfire? The thing is, like, Tarmogoyf gets Helixed while I've only got 2 things in the yard. If I cast Wildfire first, it can't get Helixed. Thing is, I would really love to curve into Liliana on 3. I think I'm gonna go for the Wildfire. I do think I need to be the beatdown, but given that my hand is pretty threat light, my first threat is worth a lot. So I guess I can use my Mountain to cast it. Then this one makes more colors, so let's hit that one. Well, this doesn't make mana. This just makes it make mana of any color. Yeah, this is not Utopia Sprawl. You boarded in Pillage and Collector Brutality. I boarded in my Brutalities. I'm not playing Pillage. I'm playing Wildfire instead. Yeah, I took out my pushes, and I think I took out 2 Inquisitions. Oh, I didn't take out Inquisition. Yeah, I kept all the discard in then. There is an Inquisition. This is actually a pretty good draw here, because now maybe I can get a threat to stick. Liliana on 6 cards isn't going to be super impactful. They could have Veil. But unfortunately, Veil is something that's always going to get me. Please no Veil. Bummer. Alright, so what threat am I playing then? Bob or Goyf? I guess now that Goyf doesn't get bolted, I should just play that. I do have double bolt Bloodbraid in hand, so maybe I can do some burst damage. Push on top of it all is bad. How do I feel about the matchup? I feel the matchup is very rough. The discard is fine, but if they've got the Veil, it sucks. Veil in general is just a pretty toxic card. It's not literally Cryptic Command, but it sure does feel like it. Land, please. Land to Bloodbraid would be excellent. Well, I mean, I guess I could just cast that, cast Bob. I think I want to play the Bob to get an attacker into play. I could Liliana, but next turn is their Niv turn anyway. So I think I'm going to try to go for the Bob. Hope they don't have a second Veil. Alright, they don't. They've got Trophy, Push, Helix, Spring Delight. Jeez. They don't have the land. Oh, Wildfire better or worse than Pillage? I like Pillage less. I think drawing a card is good, and being able to do it before turn 3 is also really good, because on the draw you can disrupt Tron. Well, I'm not taking a Trophy. It's between Helix and Push. I think I'm going to take the Push. Or maybe I have to take the Helix. Because the Helix gains them 3 life, and I'm going to have to erase them. The 3 life could definitely come up. So let's take Helix, and then they'll just push the Bob. If they hit the land, they're going to get the Niv. That's a tap land. Alright, untapped land, please. I need to Bloodbraid. Bloodbraid to have a good chance. You are in the hand, makes sense. Untapped land, untapped land. It's going to be Blackleaf Cliffs. You already know. Alright, well, it wasn't. We actually hit it. Cool. So we need this to hit an additional source of pressure. Let's get more black, more red. Blood Crypt. Alright. Tarmogoyf would be best hit, I guess. Wildfire. These already produce any color. They've got all of their colors. I guess I should just hit one of the lands that have a Utopia Sprawl on them to make Yorion worse. You board and pillage in the mirror? I don't think you can afford to do that with Ren and 6. I always take out the discard first, and then there's usually 6 or 7 cards in the sideboard that I want to play more than the discard. Marble Faith, thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. Alright, attack. We drew another land. Alright, put you to 14. And then I'm assuming I'm getting Niv'd here. I might be getting Valkyed. Or whatever the back half of Valky is called. They just drew the Niv. I guess that makes it an easier decision. I can Liliana the Niv. Alright, they can't take Valky, they can't take Niv. They get 1 Kaya's Guile, they get a Supreme Verdict, they get another Bring to Light. Not that. Not that. Not that. Not that. So this is their 7 card hand. Jeez. Alright, Liliana time. Put you to 11. There's no way I'm winning this race versus this hand. Well, I'm not sure what you mean by hitting the Ren on turn 2. So we've got 2 bolts. That has them at a virtual 5. They have Guile. They don't know that they may need this card for the life gain mode, given that 11 is pretty healthy. I'm gonna assume I'm getting Valky'd here. I mean, if they minus the Valky, I could just bolt it dead and continue attacking. Yeah, I think you'll have a better experience with the wildfires. 2 being less than 3 is a lot, and obviously a cantrip good as well. They get to replace it with a land. Oh, this has to mean that they found the land. I have the interesting option of maybe just double bolting this. If I don't just double bolt this, they're going to play a land and gain 4 anyway. I think I have to double bolt this. It feels pretty disgusting. Then the trigger being on the stack means I actually get a window to do this. This doesn't feel like a line where I'm winning long term, but it feels like I have a 1% chance instead of a 0.5% chance. It's like if I'm assuming they found a fetch land here, fetch land would have gained them 4 life and made 5 mana for the next big thing. Feels bad, but it's about the only thing I've got access to. I mean, this opens me up to maybe drawing more Blood Braids. I guess I'll load up another Edict. Discard Swamp, cycle the Peatland. Discarded the Verdict. Come on, Bloodbraid. Kroxa also acceptable. Land's far less acceptable, unfortunately. So they've got Guile, Bring Delight, and just double trophy loaded. Feels bad. Now am I getting Valky'd? I guess they could just Niv again. They're just going for this again. Play your fetch, make a bajillion mana. Gain 4. So I'm kind of just on more Blood Braids or bust. And the Blood Braid, I have to draw Blood Braid and have it hit something good, like a Kroxa for future turns. Tef is rough too. Can't Cascade while this is in play. Trophy that, yep. Well, it's about as good as it gets. We get to kill the Omnath. I can't Cascade, but I can at least attack the Teferi Dead. What did I reveal? Would have hit a Bob. Feels bad. Would have loved that Bob. See all the stuff I've worked through so far? And it's still not close. Look at this. Got another Niv. Another Bring to Light. That's basically another Niv. They're just going for Omnath again. It's the third Bring to Light for a third Omnath. Yorion draw 2. Thought you could only play one of each card in Commander. Bloodbraid. Yay! Trophy Liliana. Well, we don't actually have any more lands, right? We need to hit Terminate-ish. Seasoned Pyromancer. That one's good. Okay. Aww. We almost got the ball rolling. And if we could have killed this, there was a chance. I guess still no, because we still can't beat like probably a Kai's Guile and a 4/5 flyer. That was almost good. Niv again. Alright, we're done. I'm done wasting people's time. It was fun while it lasted. Lord Abyss. This is probably on the low end of keepable. You've got the Bolt for early interaction. You've got the Pulse for the next worst thing. And then Bloodbraid at the top with all the lands to cast it. I guess in the event I want to get Basic Mountain, if we're playing against Burn or something, I should lead on Mire. Uh-oh. So this is either Heliod or Ponza. Definitely want to bolt this now if I find a 2-drop that I want to cast. I guess we'll do it off Stomping Ground. Yeah. Yes. Zap. Bob or Goyf, please. Or Ren and 6. If it's Ponza, I should have let on. I should have played the Verdant here because then I can fetch my basics. Yeah. Yep. So they had the 4 mana combo on turn 2, but luckily I had the bolt. I'm gonna bolt that too. There's the Bob. I think Forest is probably going to be more important, assuming I get Blood Moon. Because I've got Bloodbraid, and Forest also casts Tarmogoyf. So I'll get the Forest here. Could have waited on the fetch, but it's happening anyway. I guess the reason to wait would be maybe it gets pillaged, which would be bad. Please don't Chandra. Please don't Chandra. God damn it. I mean, at least I can attack the Chandra down with the Bloodbraid. Now we can get basic Swamp, play our own Blood Moon. So we really want to hit an additional threat here. So a Goyf would be great, a Bob would be great, a Seasoned Pyromancer would be great. An Inquisition could have been better. They do actually have the pillage. But Pyromancer might just be more annoying. Let's take the Pyromancer. Attack down Chandra. They're playing the Karn package, which is interesting. Karn's a strong, yeah. This is the matchup by far I have the least fun playing against. It's not a good matchup, but it's just also miserable trying to play against Blood Moon. What's up, Chaos? Caught us right as we're playing our favorite matchup, Ponza. Yeah. And of course they drew the moon right on time. We can pulse it now. I probably just should. I could pulse the Utopia Sprawl. Thing is, like, if they pillage my my forest or my swamp, it gets much worse. I think I have to either Thoughtseize the pillage or pulse the moon. And I'm pretty sure I should be saving this pulse for something like the Karn or anything else that's big. So if that's the case, I think I need to Thoughtseize the pillage if I'm to save the pulse for something else. So I'll leave him with the Karn, attack for 3. If they minus the Karn, I can just attack it down. If they plus the Karn, I can pulse it. There's the Karn. So if they minus, I'm not sure what they'd get. Yeah, they're just plussing. Bob is an interesting draw. I would really like to be able to deploy that now. But if I don't pulse now, they're going to get to minus with the Karn and deploy whatever they minus. So I think I'm just going to pulse it. Get my attack in. I'm gonna have to get a little lucky. There are a lot of draws the opponent can have that just kill me. Like any of the really expensive 5 mana stuff, they are short on mana. I'll attack first to bait a burn spell. Maybe Bob gets to live. Like if they've got a burn spell, they are at 11. They probably fire it off. Yep. Bob. Darn. That's a good one. Do I just have the opponent discard their last card? Like, it's not a land, so it's probably just something they're waiting to cast, or it's a reactive thing. If it's a reactive thing, I might just end up getting bolted. But, I mean, I'll have them discard, buy back Bloodbraid. Buy back Bloodbraid, you'll discard. So if this is like a 5 mana card, this is going to make me look real smart. It was Glorybringer. The read was correct. But they drew the Pyromancer right on time. Brutal. Inquisition. Oh, let's play the Bloodbraid. Pyromancer of my own. Okay. Cooking with gas now. Let's ditch the double black card and I guess ditch the Inquisition. Alright, more lands obviously not what we wanted to see, unfortunately. Converted cards I can't use into cards I can't use. Drew another Thickie. Brutal. And they hit a Pyromancer again. Jeez. I mean, I think I did everything right this game. They just have been drawing it off the top, unfortunately. I'll trade if they want to give me the option. At least give me something to do with my mana to flash this back. Every card is good against me. That's a good one. Do I want to use the Fatal Push, or do I value just making a random elemental? I mean, I guess I could attack with Seasoned Pyromancer first. If they trade, I'll have Revolt, and then I can actually use the push to kill the other big thing. Maybe we get back to at parity. If I attack all, they're just going to eat my elementals, and that doesn't seem like a place where I want to be. I hope they trade. Alright, so now we can Revolt, kill the Bloodbraid. What is Jund if not a bet that my top deck beats yours? Well, unfortunately, a lot of their top decks beat ours. I'll leave the green up in case I hit a Goyf or something. Goyf, please. Bob. That'll be good next turn. Alright, time to continue being lucky, I hope. Well, that's the opposite of lucky. Glorybringer number 2. I don't even think they exert it here. Yeah. Now I need to find my Terminate. Which means I'm not casting Bob. I'm still alive to my Terminate. I guess I can attack with these. I still have Pyromancer in my yard, which I can flash back. Maybe I should have attacked with this too, given that. but I think I'm going to need my elementals to attack. Sure. Sure. Yep. Can you hit a Utopia Sprawl or something? Hit a Bolt. Can't catch a break ever. I mean, I've had like 2 pretty good draw steps back to back, but they've had like 5, unfortunately. Just going upstairs, yep. Alright, gonna have to find Terminate without dying. Hit a swamp. 2 more lands. Nope, not gonna do it. Ponza, yay! Alright, Plague Engineer for the elementals. Huntmaster because it's a good top end. Cleansing Wildfire to help us get out from under Blood Moon, and we can also hit the Utopia Sprawled lands. I'm going to cut some Inquisitions, cut a push, and I like cutting the Lilianas as well because elementals make it really weak. And also, it just does not line up well versus Glorybringer. Don't think I want second copy of Kolagon's Command. 3 mana Shock is not going to be good enough. Let's run this. Obviously want to go first. Yeah, we don't have the discard on 1. We did board a couple of those out, so to be expected. We've got all of our ways to get out from under the Blood Moon. We've got a turn 2 Bobber Goyf, and we've got a Pyromancer. This probably feels like we have to keep. And I think I'm actually going to fetch for a duel on 1. Probably get basic Swamp with my turn 2 land drop. So I guess I'll get Stomping Ground first, and then I can either play basic Swamp or fetch basic Swamp to deploy either of these. Maybe I want both of these to get red for the Pyromancer. So, I mean, I'm getting Stomping Ground first anyway, so we'll have some time to decide. And then, I guess, I already have basic Forest, so Verdant just like the worst fetch. I should lead on that. Second Bob. So if they've got Bolt or Renin 6, Dark Confidant looks bad. But if they've got Bolt that also kills the Goyf, and given that I don't want to do nothing here, I guess I'll just deploy a Bob and hope that it's not Renin 6 and is instead a Bolt. Or neither. Neither would be best case. Well, it's not a Bolt. Please no Renin 6. Stomp. Yeah? Goyf. Goyf's good. But now that we've got Creature in the yard, Goyf actually gets to live. And I think I need to be beat down. So I guess I'm just playing another Goyf. But if they just play their Bone Crusher, I can't attack past it anyway. So let's Bob. And then next turn, maybe I just Goyf, which seems fine. Like, if they moon me here, I don't particularly care. I won't be able to go Goyf, but I'll have all my colors still. Bolt the Bob. Yep. So I would love to get second red, and I guess more black. So Blood Crypt. I took the Liliana's out. So the reason to get second Swamp under a Blood Moon would be only Kroxa. I get the double Goyf if I get basic Swamp here anyway. I just won't have double red for Pyromancer. Double red for Pyromancer is probably more important given that I already have the Pyromancer in hand. So let's just get the Blood Crypt and then double Goyf. They are 3/4s, so don't quite attack past Bone Crusher yet. The Bone Crusher. They missed a land. Well, this turn's probably pretty simple. Play Peatland, lead on Pyromancer, see what I can find. Huntmaster. That'll be good later. Fortunately, we don't yet outsize Bone Crusher, and I don't think I'm wanting to trade. I think I'm gonna sacrifice Peatland end step. Is this a moon? If it's a moon now, I don't really think I care. I will cash in the Peatland while it's not a mountain. Push. We're still just 3/4s. I could attack for 2. If the opponent for some reason blocks, I could then push. I think it's just going to be better to hold it up. Maybe an attack is good though. If an attack was good, I definitely should have done it beforehand. Because, like, I do need to get the opponent dead. Yeah, let's attack. If they want to trade, cool. And if they want to just block Pyromancer, I'll push it. So I should have done this first as to not give them information, but I'm not going to compound the error when I still think an attack is good. There's already instant, so I can't, like, push just to grow Goyfs. I mean, with the board this big and they're at 18, I need to get them lower before they can find their land and start casting Haymakers. At least I think so. Alright, so I'm going to get to keep the Goyfs. I'll take my lick to 18. Alright, that's what I've got. Go. Waves are 4/5s now. Or sorry, still 3/4s. I assumed I'd be adding a type, but not the case. There's the land. Yep. What'd you get? Another Bone Crusher. So they can stomp my Huntmaster if they want. I mean, the Gwaifs still have a good attack. I can even attack with the Wolf because it would be a trade. Wildfire is interesting, but I still think I'd rather just flash back Pyromancer. So let's attack all. If they don't block, they're going pretty low, so I think they're incentivized to block. Alright. We've got lethal on board, so they've got to be on defense now. At a minimum, they could produce a blocker. Just another Bloodbraid. Maybe a Chandra. Chandra would kill a Gwaif. But that puts them dangerously low with the Pyromancer attacking them down to 1. Maybe that might be the hesitation there. Yep. Hopefully this is like a Utopia Sprawl. Ooh, I guess Blood Moon is an even better hit for me because it's basically nothing. So they can't attack or they die. They have to block a Tarmogoyf or they die. It's looking like we might come up good. Yep, we're coming up good. So now we can just kill this. And then I guess return Huntmaster. I don't want them to discard because like what if they've got Baloth? So let's return this, shock this. Now we can just attack for lethal. Okie dokie. Game 3. Don't think I'm changing anything. Maybe now that I'm on the draw and Blood Moon is more of a concern, I can like bring in an Inquisition and take out a double black card. That seems reasonable. Let's try that. How we looking? We are tied going into game 3. We lost a top deck war game 1 to just a bunch of Bloodbraids and Seasoned Pyromancers, and then game 2 they stumbled on a land drop and we had double Goyf, which is the winning formula. You gotta stumble and we gotta draw Goyfs. Can't keep this. Can keep this. I might have to use the Cleansing Wildfire to get one of my own basics. Because, like, this hand doesn't have access to basics at all. Yeah, we're in it. Please, no Veil of Summer. Please, no Veil of Summer. Please, no Veil of Summer. They didn't have it. I got a lot of haymakers, though. No, I didn't cut a ravine. There's still 2. Goif. Goif. Goif! Running 6. At least it's something to do on 2 mana. Yeah, I'm playing 2 Ren and 6s next to 4 Bobs. And then 3 Spyro again. They haven't convinced me yet, but they've been fine in this matchup. Obviously, like anything that's red is fine against Blood Moon, though. It's not exactly a hard qualifier. Alright, so we know they've got 4th land because this second Stomping Ground we didn't know about. We're going to get to Pyromancer here. Ooh, we found the Goif. Unfortunately, they have Chandra. And they could just minus and kill the Goif. So now maybe I just can't even cast the Goif. Maybe I should just be casting Seasoned Pyromancer instead. So what I can do is I can shock, play Seasoned Pyromancer, ditch Ravine, ditch Wildfire, plus get the Ravine back. Let's do it. Okay. You prefer Black Gruul over Green Rakdos? They're pretty similar. Yeah, I definitely think we need to be getting creatures down in order to pressure the Planeswalkers they've got. Double Karn is going to be rough. Maybe they Ensnaring Bridge me. I do only have 1 Kolaghan's Command in the deck. I guess there's also a Maelstrom Pulse. You're on wet Golgari. Alright, well they've got all of the mana they could want anyway. If they Chandra when Ren and 6 kills the Chandra, yes. Like if they Chandra minus to kill this, it goes to... I guess it goes to 1, so we could attack it. If they Chandra plus up to 5, we're 1 off of killing it. Oh yeah, I forgot you were on the Fallen Shinobi shenanigans. It sounds sweet. How's it working for you? Oh, you meant like if I played Goif? Well, if I play Goif, Chandra kills Goif, and I think I need the Goif to win the game. So like, it's a way to get rid of Chandra, but I think I need it long term. So you got like the very classic 60% win rate, give or take. Sounds about my experience with most decks. Alright, so I do now have a fetch to combo with Red and 6. Is there something at 4 mana that I want to do? I guess these can both go at Karn. Unfortunately, I can't kill Karn this turn. I could get it down to 2 if I want to use the Red and 6 to ping it off. Is that worth it? It might just be worth it. I definitely want to fetch either Forest or Swamp here. Given the presence of Kroxa, I think it's going to be Swamp, but Forest I think is more important if we get Blood Moon. I think I want to at least put this Karn down to 2 and play a Tarmogoyf. If they minus the Karn, then Goyf grows up to a 4/5. But they could always just like Chandra minus to kill the Goyf first and then minus the Karn. But that has me killing the Chandra as well. Then I have backup Karn and 2 random things to deal with. I don't know that that is a game that I'm winning, unfortunately. I think I still have to. I have to deal with the planeswalkers. So let's attack the planeswalkers. And then I guess I still want to play the fetch. And if I'm just casting Goyf here, I guess now is also the window to cast Kroxa. And I guess I'll get basic Forest. No, I said I need to get Swamp, right, to escape Kroxa sooner rather than later. So if I'm getting Swamp, I need to leave green available. And I'm gonna hope that I'm not getting Blood Moon. This is gonna hit Chandra, Karn, or a third thing. Probably the third thing. Oh, they had the Baloth. Tilt. Alright, well, we get to Goyf, which doesn't actually block it. The one card we don't know about, the Baloth. Brutal. They can Chandra, minus kill Goyf, use Baloth, kill Renin 6. Yeah, at least I attacked first. I've learned to attack first when I plan on having the opponent discard. I haven't been Balothed in a hot minute. Like, I used to, like, in my first, like, 50 recorded leagues, I would always say, like, attack first so you don't get Balothed. And it just, like, stopped. It just never came up, so I stopped saying it. I'm gonna have to start saying it again. So, do I want to throw this in front of there? This was a misplay, though, right? If I let the Renin 6 die, Goyf becomes 4/5. Which then outgrows the Chandra minus. So maybe they could have sequenced this better? I'm not sure. Yeah, they don't kill Goyf anymore. I mean, they could also have a Bolt to still kill it, but I think they should have killed Goyf first. I think they didn't think about this. They're making red, so they have a 3-drop. Alright, so they're ditching other Karn. I mean, they only have 2 blockers, so I still get to punch through, and Plague Engineer can just name Elemental. Alright, that might be the swing that we needed. What dies grows the Goyf. That is one of the first rules of Black-Green X. This is factual. We've got Kroxa in the queue as well. I mean, this might be the swing we needed. We can Plague Engineer, which gets Elemental out of the way. They still have Karn minus if they want to, like, just put something big into their hand. But yeah, I think this was definitely a misstep. Might not matter. Alright, we dealt with the Karn, thanks to the Renin 6 minus. What do they get? They're getting a Relic? Okay. So, we're unfortunately 1 off of escaping Kroxa. Kroxa's going to be good if I can get it into play. So, is there any reason to just send everything at Chandra? Maybe they block with Pyromancer? There's no way they block with Pyromancer, right? Like, they would just put this here. Nothing would go to my yard. I think I might just have to let Kroxa go, unfortunately. Yeah, I'm going to engineer to at least get some things connecting with this Chandra. So this name's Elemental. Gets that Elemental out of the way. And then this is 4/5. We get to hit the Chandra. And then if they don't block the Goyf here, we get to just kill the Chandra. They can block Pyromancer and then be able to exile that with Relic as well, but they're also going to be exiling their own if that's the case. I think I'm going to try to kill Chandra. Okay. Chandra takes 2. Play the Ravine. Say go. What are you referring to? Double what? I think I confused you, and then in turn you're confusing me because I forgot what I said. So this relic is going to be annoying. Engineer does have Death Touch. So if they attack with Baloth, it is a thing we can do, is just block and trade. Red Stoopy, thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. Welcome. There's the relic. Gonna pop it. Just gonna pop it now. See what you find. They do still have as much as 5 mana if they want. They can plus Chandra for mana. We're ahead on board, but they've got 4 cards in hand. We've got 1 and we know it's dead. We've got Ravine as well. We haven't been Blood Mooned yet. We still don't have basic Forest, so I'm going to put a priority on getting Forest. So if they do find a Blood Moon, I'm not locked out of a Blood Braid. Or any other green spells for that matter. Alright, well, I guess it doesn't matter. They've got the Moon now. So they've got to have something to do with their mana then, right? Because they made mana instead of just using the 3 that they had to cast the Moon. They could have dealt 2 damage to me. Dang. As soon as we're out as soon as we're under a Blood Moon, I draw the green card. So they could have a Bolt. Goif is an 0/1 anyway. I mean, if I attack these 3 at Chandra, maybe I kill it. If they have a Bolt, this could go poorly, though. They could Bolt this, block this. Chandra only takes 2. I mean, attacking with Goif doesn't actually do anything. I'm gonna go everyone at the Chandra. And then maybe get to kill Chandra. Yeah, I didn't have another card. If I had one more card in my yard, I could have escaped Kroxa. Alright, so I've got Seasoned Pyromancer on flashback now. Yeah, I just was literally unable to escape Kroxa. Uh-oh. That's a good one. Can I draw my basic forest or a cleansing wildfire? So I'm colorblind. I thought this was the forest for half a second, but then I saw it was red. I guess I'm just attacking for 2. Man, how great would it have been if I had spiked the forest? We can also draw one of our 2 remaining cleansing wildfires to target one of our own lands and get the forest. This Colossus is going to be a lot to deal with, though. If they attack, I don't think I can quad block. In fact, I literally just can't. That's good. Alright, I guess that's the reason to just play the land. They're going to get more food to eat, but it's probably worse to just not play my thing. I found the Bolt. I mean, this means I can attack with elementals, too. Because if they want to block and we go to damage, I can kill Baloth. Stomping. So, funny enough, I could Bolt my own thing so they don't have access to the Bone Crusher Giant side. Is that something I'm actually interested in? I don't think it is. I actually think it is. I don't want them getting a 4/3. Because, like, if I attack all suiciding an elemental and bolting Baloth, like, A, they could just not block, and B, if I bolt the Baloth, like, they're still left with a better 4-power creature. This is a 2/3 for a turn. Not quite big enough. Bolt again. Alright, well, I guess now I actually have the option. I'll throw the Goif under the bus, too, I think. It's not going to be big. They could just not block. In fact, I think if I were them, I probably just wouldn't. But they're blocking. I have to somehow hope they have actual nothing forever. Alright, well I can exile that if the opponent targets it. They probably won't because they know I could just activate it. It's possible their hand is all reactive stuff, like more bolts, maybe a braids that they just aren't wanting to cast on elementals. I mean, it's not threats, right? They've got this Bone Crusher at a minimum. Come on, deck. Damn. If they had Glorybringer, they'd be able to cast it. Yeah, Veil is a possibility. Just reactive stuff. That's got to be what their hand does. Yeah, I mean, this Clothis is just going to be too much. Luckily we didn't have to face it game 1 or 2. But it is still good here in game 3. Yeah, I mean, there are very few bad things they could draw at this point. And, like, I'm not even, like, hurting for the green source. I'm just losing because, I can't find good spells. Alright, no attack from either of these would mean they want to keep their Clothis turned on. Their devotion now is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, so exactly enough. I think I'm going to try to just kill all of their stuff. Then I guess I'll just chump this. Just try to keep the Clothis not a creature. I mean, I mentioned that they could very easily have a Braids or Bolts or just otherwise burn spells, so I expect one of them to save a creature here. I guess not. Maybe they figure it doesn't matter, that's just not what they have. Alright, well, if they've got Glorybringer, then I can terminate it. Same with Gargaroth, but I really don't think they've got it. I think we're just kind of dead to the Clothis. This Clothis it did basically everything. I've been competing as far as creatures go, but this Clothis is a little much. Alright, we're good. Bummer. Yeah, I absolutely hate that matchup. I mean, that was at least a fun version of the matchup. It was good until the Clothis hit the table. That Moon didn't particularly mess us up too much. It was only, I guess, Goyf we couldn't cast and Bloodbraid we couldn't cast. Everything else was castable. Yeah, that matchup is real tough. Huntmaster we had already used, so Huntmaster wasn't a dead draw. We couldn't cast Huntmaster, but we at least converted it with a Seasoned Pyromancer. So basic lands? Yeah, like we couldn't cast Huntmaster, but we had already used it. Ooh, that's a good pickup. Yeah, Baloth did a crap ton. Whoa, that's a Gristlebrand. So this is Footsteps of the Goryo. Return target card from your graveyard to the battlefield and sacrifice that creature at the beginning of the next end step. So it doesn't give haste. I guess I'm taking Channeler and then I can kill a second Channeler with a push. There's the second Channeler. They played the Blackleaf Cliffs. Bob is good. But if I don't kill the Channeler, they can discard Gristlebrand and then immediately put it into play with the Footsteps of Goryo. So I think I have to take the turn off to push this thing. And then I guess I'll just play Meyer, say go. This will get probably Overgrown Tomb. Or I guess there's more red in the deck than green, than black, so I'll get Stomping Grounds. Lingering Souls is also just going to be good versus me. I do have the Pulse for it, which is nice. Yep. Stomping Ground, no. Come on, deck. No, I can't really plus that because the Gristlebrand. Edicting, it looks bad versus Spirits. So let's just go Blackleaf Cliffs, Dark Confidant, say go. And then hopefully they flash back Souls and I can pulse them all. I mean, the rest of their hand does nothing, as far as I'm aware. Come on, just cast Souls. Yay. And if their last card is a Bolt or a Push, they could Bolt or Push the one that I'm targeting, which would be unfortunate. But I mean, I'm still going to go for it. Bloodbraid will be nice for next turn. Hey, it worked. Okay, this is going about as well as we could ask through a Lingering Souls. We had the Pulse for it. Another Lingering Souls would be terrible. Gonna have to kill that the next copy of Lingering Souls the hard way. One for one with the Souls, yeah. Bolt the Bob. Unfortunate. Well, they didn't have that last turn. That must have been the new card. If I cast Kroxa, they're just going to bin the Gristlebrand and then reanimate it, so I don't think that's a play I can make. I kind of just have to Bloodbraid here. An additional threat is what I'm looking for. Thoughtseize. That can take the Footsteps of the Goryo at a minimum. They just have another land. Alright, so let's take the Footsteps. So their hand is land, Gristledad. Okay, so far not terrible. I think Lingering Souls is the way we could fall behind. I can kill 2 of the Souls, not easily. What is this? Whoa, Obsidat. When it enters, target opponent loses 2 and you gain 2 at the beginning of your end step. You may exile it. If you do, return it under its owner's control at the beginning of the next end step. Brutal. How big is it? It's a 5/5? I'm gonna have to race that, huh? I guess I can race it. I can play Verdant, both cast and escape a Kroxa. That's a pretty big clock. Right? Red. Oops. So I can go black, red, cast Kroxa. They're gonna bin a Gristlebrand, which I'll have to be careful about. Play a swamp. Or get a swamp, rather. Escape Kroxa. Put you down to 11, attack you down to 8. And if they keep Obsidat as a blocker, I can Liliana minus. So they're going to go up to 10. Obsidat was a pretty insane draw there, huh? I haven't played against this card in a hot minute. Yeah, they might just have to keep it as a blocker, but I've got the Liliana to edict it if they do keep it. And they had to keep it, yeah. Yeah, and the Kolaghan's command can do the last point if they are able to discard a spell. Wow. Alright, well, they're playing some Reanimator shenanigans, so Nile's Spellbomb is looking like it's going to be good. Brutality doesn't kill any of their creatures, but it could just take like an instant or a sorcery that they want to reanimate a Gristlebrand with. I don't think that's better than just Inquisition or Thoughtseize, though. They're playing Lingering Souls, so that's probably a good reason to play Plague Engineer. I really don't want to be playing the 1-for-4 game with a Lingering Souls. What's Push doing? Push is killing the 1/3 that turns into a 4/4. I think Bolt is probably coming out before the Push, because the Pushes will at least always kill the 2-drop after it becomes a 4/4. I mean, the deck looks pretty fine versus this opponent. I'm not entirely sure what I should be cutting. Maybe Terminate, just as like it's a 2-mana 1-for-1. It can kill Obsidat, but that's about it. Maybe I want to cut the Lilianas because the opponent does have a really good discard theme going on, and when they discard to a plus, it's probably going to be better for them. So Liliana isn't looking super strong. In a mid-range kind of battle, I can definitely see Huntmaster being good. Maybe it's better than 4th Liliana. Or I guess 1st Liliana. This looks fine. Let's run it. You would dump Ren? Yeah, I don't think Ren is fantastic. Speaking of not fantastic... They mulligan to 6. We've got Spellbomb, which can stop their more degenerate side. But we have 0 removal for any of their actual creatures. I think I got a ship. This is better. Definitely keeping land, definitely keeping Spellbomb. I think I can pretty safely bottom just one of my 1-mana removal spells. And I'll bottom a Bolt just to keep it diverse. You're rooting for the Obsidat deck. Hey. Is there any reason to be afraid of Blood Moon? I guess not with Basic Mountain and all the colors they were making. Goyf is an excellent draw. I definitely think I should be getting my Spellbomb down now. So I think I'm going to do it off of an Overgrown Tomb. So if I draw Blackleaf Cliffs or something, I can get Goyf down painlessly. Yeah, Mardu Pyro did used to play Blood Moon. There's the Channeler. I think I'm going to use the Bolt on this one in case future Channelers outgrow the Bolts. And I don't want them having a discard outlet right now. I would love to get the Goyf down. Maybe it's actually okay to get the Goyf down, because in the event they go for the reanimation plan, I could always empty pop the Spellbomb. Is that crazy? You think what one turn off won't hurt? Yeah, I'm also leaning towards just getting the Goyf into play. I think I'm going to do it off of a Blood Crypt, which officially means that if they've got a Blood Moon, they're just going to get me. They could also bolt the Tarmogoyf, but having second Tarmogoyf makes me a little bit more comfy. I could also, if they bolt the Tarmogoyf, pop the Spellbomb targeting them, which would make Goyf a 3/4. But I don't think I'd be I don't think I'd be interested in that. Maybe I am if I don't have second threat, but I do. Is this a Souls? Souls would be brutal. Lightning Axe discarding Obsidat. Yeah. So the way this would work, they would Obsidat would come back, and then they'd have two triggers. They would either have to sack it to the Goryo's Vengeance, or to have Obsidat leave to its own ability. And if they have it leave to its own ability first, they get to just start their loop. Land. Thank you. So now we get to kill the Channeler and deploy another copy of Goyf. And if they are playing Blood Moon, I suppose this basic swamp is free. And then they're kind of far from Channeler being big, but I think I still want to keep the push to have the ability to kill a wider range of things. Yeah. This is going all right. Yeah, the Reanimator decks in my experience have been pretty all in. There aren't very many Reanimator decks. Another Spellbomb's a nice pickup. I guess I can lead on the Spellbomb. And they're yielded. They have one card left. Did they mulligan this game and I just didn't notice? Yeah, I mean, the Channelers and the Lingering Souls do allow them to be more mid-range than they would otherwise be. They got another Obsidat. So... it does gain haste. Do I want to pop the Spellbomb to try to find the land or more action? I guess we can see what they want to do with the Obsidat. Alright. Yeah, let's try to find some action. It's like even another land enabling the Bloodbraid is a pretty big game. Okay. Goyf is a 4/5, so we're one off of it just outsizing Obsidat. I guess I should use Forest to conserve the life. Pyromancer, that's a good one. Just any way to produce more pressure. And their thing is going to come back with haste, but now I think I have just like an elemental to provide a speed bump. So they can put us each to 8 here with this coming back. They do have a lot of good draws. Lingering Souls I think would be the about worst case possible. I will throw this elemental under the bus. No trample, right? No. They found Aegon. At the beginning of your upkeep, exile 2 cards from your yard. If you can't, you must sacrifice Aegon and draw a card. Tarmogoyf is currently a 4/5. So this is getting sacrificed and they're drawing a card. I guess if I use Ren and 6, buy back Peatland, draw a card. If I find a bolt or a push, I just win. Not true, because I only have 1 red. If I attack all, they block, take 5. We can't bolt them dead or anything like that. I mean, I guess I'll just Ren and 6 then. Buy back Peatland, cycle Peatland, maybe I find another creature. I could just minus going at them. Obsidat's going to come back, put them to 10. This is going to die. I'll have 4, 7, 8 power. Sorry, 4 plus 3 is 7. Plus 2 is 9. That's 1 off of lethal, but I can always just ping them next turn if they can't gain life. Yeah, Bob is probably getting cast to block. If I cycle the Peatland, I can't cast the Bob. So I guess I'm not cycling Peatland. I will still get it back, though. Maybe I want to get a fetch back so I can get a second red source. That actually seems good. Because, like, if I draw a red spell, I may want to do everything to burn them out. Yeah, let's get back Mire, play a Mire. And then I guess no attack. I could attack all just to put them a little lower. Let's do the math. They block this, take 5, go down to 3. Obsidian comes back, they go to 5. This is dying no matter what. So they would have to keep Obsidat. They would be at 5 to these 3 things in play. If they can find a way to deal with only Bloodbraid, we still get to kill them. So maybe an attack is actually good. Let them kill the Tarmogoyf. I think I like it. So you can kill Goyf, take 5, go to 3, up to 5. Because, like, even if they hit me down to 2 here with 6 and attack with Obsidat, I don't have to block, although I should. They still die if they don't hold Obsidat back. They still need to knock the top of their library. You definitely attack all? Well, I did, so cool. And if you attack, I'll block. Hopefully they didn't find help. They did get 2 looks when Aegon died. Did you find souls? Looks like they might have found souls. Another Aegon. Interesting. Alright, so let's see what they do with this. So, if I ping them, we're 1 short. Had I pinged them last turn, we would have been able to kill them now. They still might have removal. I guess this 1 more fetch is free, right? Let's get more red. It's Blood Crypt then? Blood Crypt. No. I mean, just drawing a burn spell would make this a lot easier. Kind of a burn spell. If they have a land in hand, this works. And if they have a removal spell, this also works, right? Because if they kill something, they'll just go to 2 and then they die. Let's cast it. See what happens. There was another Obsidat. So I guess now I buy back Peatland and sack it. I ping them down to 4. I can only put them to 2. So I guess I'll lead on Ren and 6 to cycle, maybe hit a 2-drop or just a bolt to finish it now. Plague Engineer. Not quite. Is there any reason to just play second Ren and 6 now? I don't think so. They can, if they want, exile these 2 cards to keep Aegon around. Am I losing this? Yeah, just blocking until I draw something. Unfortunate. I think they stabilized. You want to exile your 2 things to keep your 6/6 around? They do. Is this even a May? No, it's not a May, so they just like have to do it. Alright, we have to block both now. I think we're dead. I mean, had I pinged on that the first turn I played the Ren, we would have had Xaxes a couple turns ago. And a Ransack. I mean, that's going to let their thing stay around again. Yeah, I think they killed us. Yeah, I guess I should have pinged with that Ren and 6 4 turns ago. Or maybe, I guess it was 3 turns ago. Are you barfing in a good way or in a bad way, JDX? Is there any way out of this? I need to produce 2 blockers. I mean, I guess Kroxa is a pretty solid blocker, but I don't have mana to do that and something. I have Seasoned Pyromancer, but that doesn't seem like a winning battle. I think I'm just dead. Yeah, I'm just dead. Jeez. In an appalled way. Well, then I'm doing it right. Dang. Alright, so I had a chance to win that game. I still think in that moment a plus was reasonable, but as it turns out, we were 1 point short. So it would have worked had I used the ping mode. Maybe they just don't have spells in their yard consistently enough for push to be better than bolt. Maybe bolt just is better. It's kind of close. Let's try it. Goyf is one off as a recurring thing. Maybe it's time to try Seal of Fire, or else with Bitter Blossom Spyro. I still think bolt into a seal is enough of a downgrade to make the upgrade of maybe having an 8/9 Goyf not worth it. Yeah, let's go first. Yee. If one of these was a fetch land, this would be a keep. Yeah, we've got Thoughtseize into Goyf with some follow-ups. I think I'm ditching Pyromancer here. Or maybe I should just ditch Kroxa. Kroxa is going to enable their combos, and we're kind of far off from escaping it. Yeah, let's ditch Kroxa. And then, do I want to just Lava Axe myself the Thoughtseize? I think I do, unfortunately. So, I'll Fetch Shock, Blood Crypt. I could get basic Swamp and then just Fetch Shock Stomping Ground. Is it worth it to do that? I don't think so. They've got 1 land, Channeler, Bolt, Goryo's Vengeance, Cling, and a Lingering Souls. I mean, I guess I just take first Channeler. I'm going to hope that they brick on lands, I guess. I don't have answer to first Channeler, so I think I'm going to need to save the Pulse for the Souls. Their hand's quite good if they find a land. You went 3-2 with Gruel Value? Isn't that just Ponza? Alright, we did find another land. Alright, so they played the land we didn't know about, so they found the land immediately. I guess maybe they want to get basic Swamp to Cling. Having found another land, is it okay to get Forest here? I think I have to Fetch Shock again anyway, so I've got double red for Pyromancer. So I guess I am just going to Fetch Shock now as opposed to later. So I'll get Stomping Ground now, and then this can plan on getting basic Swamp. It is not in Bolt range, so I think playing this is relatively safe. So they cast the Cling. Cling gone. There's the Arid Mesa. No, I'm not raising cows. That's my dog. He's very vocal.
I also just got home, so he's...
Oh yeah. My girlfriend just got home, so he's very excited. There's the channeler. Spellbomb is interesting. I would still really like to keep the pulse for the impending lingering souls. They don't yet have the third land though, and like letting channeler live seems like it's playing with fire. Maybe I do just pulse this thing. Yeah, I'm gonna pulse this thing. Get basic swamp. We already have double red. Get in for 4. He is, I think, a Doberman Lab mix. He's a rescue, so we don't actually know. Haggle. Uh-oh. Please don't Goryo's Vengeance us. There were 2 cards we didn't know about. As long as one isn't an enabler and the payoff. They had it? Are you kidding? The 2 cards we don't know about are the combo? Hey. Yeah, rescues are rewarding. They can be hard-headed, though. Mine's pretty hard-headed. So the 2 cards we didn't know about were combo. So now I have to Pyromancer for blockers. It's gonna enter, put me to 2, then they just bolt me. Yeah, I mean, I think I got pretty unlucky, at least at the end of that game, because, like, there were literally 2 cards we didn't know about. We already know about the Vengeance, and we know that they don't have a discard outlet, and they didn't actually have the creature to bring back. So, like, of the 5-card hand, the 2 cards I don't know about have to be the combo for them to just kill me. And they drew it. So I guess that was a little lucky for them. So let's do a quick deck tech, because this is a long recording. We're already over 3 hours. So, obviously not a very good record. 1-4, the opposite of ideal. I mean, all in all, it felt pretty smooth. Every time I had a Bob and a Ren and 6, I was happy to find them. So I think it's probably fine to play such a heavy 2-mana slot, especially with all the card advantage engines. I can't say I can pinpoint exactly what wrong in this league. I mean, it all felt pretty smooth. I think the opponents just got a little luckier than us. When the games were rounding out, with the best example of that being in the game that just ended, where like it had to be 2 exact things that we didn't know about. Like I could have played Spellbomb, but it just didn't work out that way. I think I really need to start applying pressure, which playing Spellbomb would not allow. So I still think my play was correct, at least there, and I got unluckily punished. All of the other matchups, they went pretty fine. They were all fairly close. We played against, I think, only 2 bad matchups. The matchup that we won was versus a control deck where Dark Confidant came in really big. And against all the other matchups, like it all felt fine. Everything felt pretty much as smooth as it could be. I guess if I did have one thing to say, Pyromancer did okay this league. One of the things, I mentioned in the beginning, that if I'm going to put a card in my deck, I want it to do one of 3 things really well, at least most of the time. I want it to either provide a significant clock, generate some amount of card advantage, or disrupt the opponent. And the only of the 3 that Seasoned Pyromancer does is generate card advantage, and it doesn't even do that most of the time. So, I mean, I don't think Pyromancer is good. Like, it's fine. Like, if you're in a top deck war versus, like, a mid-range or a control deck, it's obviously going to be excellent, but I mean, that's a small percentage of the time. I think the overwhelming percentage of the time, Pyromancer just isn't going to be that good. So I guess that's still my thought on that. The Lilianas were fine, the Kolaghan's commands were fine, the Bloodbraids were great. I brought every card in the sideboard in at least once, and they were all effective. So I mean, the deck felt fine, it felt smooth. I don't have any major complaints about anything. That said, the result was obviously not good, but all of the matchups were close, And I think as far as this league is concerned, the opponents just got a tiny bit luckier than us when it came down to the end game. So hopefully, I guess we get luckier than the opponent in the future. But I mean, obviously it's never just all luck while you lose. Like there's got to be something that can be improved here. I don't know what that is, but that's going to be something I have to think on off stream because I've been going for a long, long time, and the girlfriend got home, so I got to log off. So thanks all watching here on YouTube, and obviously if you're watching here live on the stream, I appreciate you very much as well. Thanks to all the new follows and subs today. So until next time, have a good one, and jun them out.